Maple Grove Raceway has always been known for their quick quarter mile and for fields filled with some sweet restored rides and custom cruisers from all over the Northeast. This is the Menards Chevy Show, where we tour the country to find the finest race cars and rides that are part of the bow tie breed. If you have any questions about where we are this week, let this Corvette answer the question for you right now. Eagle on the inside of the hood, eagle on the inside of the fender, and then the real eagle. Yes, the Philadelphia eagle right there in the intake manifold of this Corvette, owned by former Eagles player Bob Anderson. It is one of hundreds of gorgeous cars and trucks we have on the show field here at Maple Grove Raceway, and we're going to start with this week's first producer pick. Brett, this is a Pro Street car. Tell me how this whole thing came together.
Dad's, like you said, he's been working with the G-bodies for a while. He had a car in the mid-90s in the Super Chevy magazine, so then on out, my brother, he had a father-son project with my dad, and then it was my turn once his was done. So this was bought in 2006, waited for my brother's car to finish up, and then just went through and did this one, 8-year project. We wanted to make it obviously Pro Street, big wide tire, but make people not think what's under the hood and shock everybody when we open the hood up. Twin turbo, fuel injected, and modern. Like you see everybody, they have the big blower motor sticking out of the hood, and all the attention's there, but don't know much about this thing until you actually see it, and everybody's just jaw dropped.
What was the first thing you thought of when you stood on the gas the first time and both those turbos spooled up?
It was crazy. Actually, the throttle stuck. That was kind of a scary ride, but so fixed that and then played around with it a little bit more, and it's quite the ride. People like to hold on.
Time now to turn our attention to award winners, starting off with the 1955 Chevy Nomad owned by Arnold Warner that has garnered the Gunk Tough and Trusted title. So Arnold, 55 Nomad, iconic body style. What was it that caught your attention about this particular car?
I just had an opportunity to buy it. The car didn't look like this. It was still a done car, the paint and the interior, but the car didn't set the way it does. It had bad wheels on it, and it was real weathered under the hood. So I had to go through and strip everything down and repaint the motor and reset the car, set the stance of the car, and I got the 22s and 18s on it to give it the right look.
Talk to me about suspension, because this car has a very unique suspension setup under it.
It has a polished Heights independent rear end in it with 4 coilovers on it. It's all polished. It's got inward brakes on it. The suspension on the car rides really well with that suspension. The interior is great in the car. It's got air conditioning and got vents in the back of the car, so it air conditions the whole car. It's all leather, it's two-tone. There's some special compartments in the back, which one of them really hides the battery, and the second one's for storage. This is a torch red. It's a base coat, clear coat, DuPont color. Just a lot of wet sanding and buffing on the car to get the color up on the car and get the shine on it. And
we talked about how you love Tri-5s, but when you're a 16, 17-year-old kid that loves hot rods and the gasser look stuff, you own a station wagon now, man. Did you ever think you'd want to own a station wagon?
Well, the Nomads, you don't see that many of them, and I just kind of run across this one, and it's just a unique car, and I like unique stuff. Like I say, I got a '57 convertible, I got a Pro Street car, so I like the Tri-5s, but I like to mix it up.
When you were a kid and you started messing around with hot rods and playing with cars, did you ever imagine owning something at this level?
Well, my dad, I used to build model cars. He said all you do is grow up and build them life size, That's what he calls my cars, my model cars.
It's easy to see why Arnold's 55 Nomad station wagon is so special, and it certainly deserves to be Gunk's Tough and Trusted Award winner here at Maple Grove. Stay with us. There's more Menards Chevy Show from Maple Grove to come, including a 1956 Chevy truck that's a tangerine dream. We'll be right back.
The Menards Chevy Show is being brought to you by Z-Max, the one product for your engine, transmission, and fuel system. Evap-O-Rust, super safe rust remover. Steel Rubber Products, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Welcome back to the Menards Chevy Show here at Maple Grove Raceway. Now it's time to turn our attention to trucks And the first truck we're going to turn our attention to is this incredible 1956 Chevrolet. Every panel on this thing's been touched. Harold, this is certainly one of the most beautiful trucks on the property. I want to know about the body first, because it's been chopped and it looks like everything else has been modified. Take me through it.
Yeah, the truck's pretty much modified from front to back. The only thing original is the rear fenders and steps. Starts with a front bumper, shaved, parking lights, firewall, tilt forward hood, chopped 4 inches. It's a 5-window truck, which is not normal on the truck, and everything on the rear is shaved and smoothed all off, back to the rear taillights.
The motor, man, you got a 409 in this truck. Well, a 409 based engine.
Yep, 409 Chevy, big block Chevy, 63 truck block, and that'll block upper end heads and intake and 2.4 intake. So runs pretty good, about a 450 horse engine.
What is it about this task force era of Chevy truck styling that you like so much?
I don't know. It starts in the 50s. I like them all the way up through, but 56s, I have an all original 56, and I bought this one and decided I was going to go crazy with it, and that's what we did.
Well, I'll tell you what, as gorgeous as this 56 Chevrolet is, it's not the only great-looking Chevy truck we have here in Maple Grove. The C10 was a workhorse back in the day, but it's a show pony today at many Menards events. Here in Maple Grove, Dan Watt's C10 is the LMC Truck Life Award winner. So Dan, these 72 trucks are like the hottest property right now. Everybody wants to do different things. How did you come across this one?
We actually found it online, doing a search online, and we found it about 3 years ago. It was in Missouri, and we drove a little bit over 15 hours to get it. It was pretty much done on the body and all the body work and the paint, and we kind of took the rest of it and personalized it ourselves after we brought it back home. Yep.
Well, you personalized it the right way under the hood. You got a big block with dual quads on it.
Drag racer by heart, and always big block in all my race cars. Yep.
Talk to me about the interior.
Late model Chevrolet, like out of Silverado truck, but just personalized, took to the upholstery shop to do the center inserts, the emblems, and door panels were aftermarket, just covered them in the same upholstery that we had for the interior. Yep, a little bit more different than stock, but leading up to customizing it to fit it to our liking.
So man, you're no spring chicken. You're a full-size individual. You got enough room in that cab?
Yeah, it actually is. We had looked at a couple other trucks that were chopped, and it was like, we're not going to fit in those too well. So we were real happy when we found it, but got plenty of leg room and plenty of headroom. Yep.
And so you said you're a drag racer at heart. What was it that captured your attention about the 72 pickup truck?
We've just always been a pickup truck guy. I mean, we had the cars, but when I went looking this time, I kind of went back true to heart. I said, I'm more of a pickup truck guy, so like you stated in the first part, trucks are really hot now. They really are. They're moving up in desirability, and we just really like this year. It was the last year for this body style, and really just liked the year and just wanted that pickup truck.
Personalized, but it's not over the top. You still know when you're looking at it that it's a 72.
Right. That's what we like about it. We didn't want it to do the drop in the bag and everything. I worry about bags blowing out. So we drive it. We drive it all the time, and we don't have a problem with anywhere we could go in it.
Congratulations to Dan Watt for taking home the LMC Truck Life Award here at Maple Grove this weekend. On the track or in the show area, Camaros are some of the most popular players at a Menards Chevy show. Over the years, all sorts of Chevys have captured the Duracell Crank It with the Copper Top Award, and here in Maple Grove, a 1969 Camaro owned by Timothy Moyer is the winner. All right, Timothy, you've had this car for like 10 years, built it from an empty shell. What was your intention when you built this car?
Well, I had one like it when I was in high school, so I was thinking maybe just make it pretty stock, same color that I had in high school, but it's since kind of morphed into a resto mod from there, so it's been evolving over the years since I've had it. I go to cruise nights, shows as often as I can in the summertime. Cruising down a highway, I drive it everywhere, so it's not a trailer queen. It gets driven, and just kind of have some fun with it. Go to the autocross when I get a chance, get the beat on it a little bit. So, yeah, just for fun and show, basically, yeah.
One of the high points is the interior, so walk us through what the interior of this car actually is.
Okay, I got seats and console and shifter from a 5th generation Camaro. The seats are from a 2010. The console, I think, came from a 2012. So, took everything stock out and put the seats in and rearranged all that, try to get everything to fit. It was a little bit of a tight fit, but got that to work, and it's a lot more comfortable than the stock seats for sure. So, yeah. One of the things I did was put an Alpine deck in. It's got a 100-watt amplifier in it, and I got a 150-watt subwoofer in the trunk. So you need the power to kind of do that. So I wired that right to the Duracell battery, and it takes care of all the electrical needs, and then the aftermarket air conditioning and everything else that I added on. It's got a lot more electrical equipment in now than it did stock. So that Duracell battery really helps out with that.
And how long have you been coming to the Menards Chevy show here at Maple Grove?
About the last 4 years, been coming down here. Yeah, so it's been a long run. It's a good show. I like it, and get down here and support Duracell. So it's a lot of fun.
So is this just a you car? You get out there with your wife, your kids? I mean, who else cruises with you?
Yeah, my wife goes everywhere I go. My grandkids like to go along every now and then to some cruise nights, so we take them occasionally. They go along, so the backseat gets some use, not too much, but a little bit of use from them. So yeah, it's a fun car. Just take it wherever I want to go with it.
Timothy Moyer certainly has done his Camaro proud, and it's truly deserving of the Duracell Crank It with the Copper Top Award. We've barely scratched the surface of the Maple Grove Menards Chevy show, and when we come back, we'll have a pair of Chevelles on tap. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Menards Chevy show. Here in Maple Grove, there are rows of Chevelles, and one of them, a 1966 SS396 owned by Chuck Sirianni, has been crowned the Rock Auto Restored Award winner.
Well, in '66, I was in college. It was my senior year, and this model car came out, and myself and two buddies looked at the car, and we fell in love with the car, so we went to the local Chevy dealer to buy 3 cars. When we walked in, the salesman looked at us like, what are these guys doing here? And I went over and I said, listen, we're here to buy 3 cars. And he changed his tune real quick. Well, when I graduated, I went back home to Niagara Falls, New York. I was in Wichita, Kansas, and I was in the Air National Guard at the time. And back at that time, the Guard unit got activated, and we got sent overseas with a 4-day notice. So the car was sitting at home with an $82 a month payment. My military pay wasn't going to cover that, so my father was paying for it, and I felt real bad about that, and told him to sell it, which hurt, as you can tell. So I've always wanted to restore it. And back in '98, I heard about this car. A friend of mine told me it was in a barn 25 miles from Buffalo. So I drove out there, and sure enough, it was sitting in this dirt floor barn, covered up. Talked to the owner. When I called him, I said, I just want to come and see it. He said, the car's not for sale. And I said, well, I didn't say I wanted to buy it. I just said I wanted to come and look at it. He goes, oh yeah, no problem, come on. So we went there. I took a dealer plate. I put some money in my pocket, brought my friend, and a Chevy numbers book. Checked all the numbers when we got there. He unveiled the car. It was really in great condition. Made sure it was an authentic original, which it is. And I said to the guy, listen, if I don't buy this car from you today, is it going to sit here for 14 more years in this dirt floor barn, and no one is going to enjoy this car? And he looked at me and he said, you know what, you're right.
Did that kid who walked into the car dealership in 1966, 51 years ago, envision he'd own probably one of the most perfect Chevelles on earth a half a century later?
Never.
Chuck Sirianni and his Chevelle have quite a story together, and that's the reason why they're taking home the Rock Auto Restored Award from Maple Grove. Chevelles are also prime candidates for the original award from OPGI. Here at Maple Grove, Joe Lovat's 1967 SS396 has captured the judges' votes. Walk us through the story of this 67 Chevelle.
My dad and I, we bought it about 1.5 years ago. It was in a basket case. Then we decided to put it back together. We did all the work ourselves, and a friend of ours, Lenny Pasquale, did the paint job. And it took us about a little over a year to put the car all back together.
And you said you and your dad have been restoring cars together for how long?
About 25, 30 years, since I was a little kid. All Chevys, that's all we mess with. My dad loves his Chevys.
What's the first car you can remember working on with your dad?
69 Chevelle.
Nice.
It was my first car.
Really?
Yeah. We restored the car and we kept it in the garage until I was 16.
Was the car originally an SS396 car?
It was originally a 396 Benz seat automatic on a column.
OPGI was obviously a good source of parts for you?
Yes, we all the Chevelles me and my dad restore, we get the parts from them, and the quality is good fit on there, and they're reasonable pricing, and we get most of our parts through OPGI.
So what, obviously your dad's a Chevy guy, but have you ever thought about anything else?
No, this Chevy's only. Maybe a Ford Mustang once in a while, but I just can't get into that.
Does the 67 present any sort of challenges when doing a restoration different than any other Chevys?
No, not really. Just the quarter panels are longer to sand. Got to make sure they're straight. Just a lot of sanding. It's just 67 to me. I just like that body style, and that's my favorite out of all of them.
Did any of the interior come with the car when you got it?
Yeah, the interior was in it, but it was all chewed up, rusted, or rotted out. Mice was in there, ate all the foam, and it was pretty bad shape. The headliner had big holes in it. So we bought all new interior. Got the covers from OPGI, the headliner, the dash, the seat, the door panels. You got most of that from that.
Having done enough of these cars, I want to know what your favorite part of a restoration is and what your least favorite part is.
Least favorite is sanding the body. The favorite part is when you're done, you get to start it up, move it out to the garage, and take it for a ride for the first time.
Restorations like Joe Lovat's are automotive works of art and completely deserving of the OPGI Original Award. How about another producer's pick? You know, we see a lot of muscle car era stuff at this show. What attracts you to these fat fender cars?
Well, my father has a 39 two-door sedan, and I always wanted a coupe because I thought, you know, it was a younger version of his style. And I decided to pick this up from a friend of mine and restore it. It's a 3-year project, but my family, we took care of it.
So the pinstripe that runs down the side of the car, tell me the story behind that because it's pretty funny.
The painter wanted to put the purple pinstripe, and I was like, purple? I don't see it. And he showed me a test coat and a test strip, and I said, okay, go ahead. Go ahead, just go ahead, just do it. Back in the 30s, it's called Master 85 Business Coupe. Business Coupe was where the salesman went out and sold the vacuum cleaners and the sewing machines door to door. So that's where it gets that, because it was part of that era of the business coupes.
There's more Menards Chevy Show to come. And when we return, we're talking drag racing with a big bad bubble top attached to a famous name. Stay with us.
Menards Chevy Show is being brought to you by Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977. Clamp Tight, the clamp making tool. Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. And by Gen Y Hitch, towing made easy.
Welcome back to the Menards Chevy Show. It's here at Maple Grove Raceway. If you're a fan of drag racing history, you know the name Hayden Prophet. This car is a tribute to one of his early great successes at the 1962 U.S. Nationals. Ron, this is your car. It is an incredible piece of history because it was overseen by Prophet himself.
Yes, Hayden overseeing the construction of this car, so every detail on it was just like his car that he raced, even down to the cam grind. We're looking at what's called a bubble top, a Chevy Bel Air. They made a handful of these sport coupes which had the 61 roof, the 61 Impala roof. The drag racers liked them because they were more aerodynamic and they were lighter. So you've seen these a lot on the drag strips across the country.
What is it about these cars that has captured your imagination?
You know, it's just a big block car. It was one of the first super stock cars, one of the first fastest cars. These were faster than the Corvettes back in the day. You look at the motor, it's just such a unique head design. You look at it and it's just cool.
This Chevrolet may be an awesome piece of drag racing history. This racetrack is still making drag racing history today. Well, Maple Grove Raceway has been open for more than 50 years and the staging lanes are still full. I am joined by Maple Grove's General Manager Joe Sway. And Joe, it's a beautiful place and a beautiful weekend.
Yes, it is. A great weekend. After the rain we had yesterday, we got sunshine, and we got a full line of cars here and a great car show and swap meet. The Menards Chevy Show is always a great event here at the Maple Grove Raceway. We have something always going on here in our 6-month season. The national event brings thousands of people.
Well, it's a fantastic legacy that's been going on here at Maple Grove for years. The Menards Chevy Show has been a part of this racetrack for decades. We're happy to be here, and thanks for coming and running this place like you do, Joe.
All right, thank you very much.
Time to now turn our attention to the Moonshine Sweet Tea Sweet Ride Award. And here in Maple Grove, it goes to a nice but nasty Nova owned by Mike Eden. All right, so Mike, this is obviously an insanely hardcore street car. So what inspired you to build something like this?
Well, we're always into the pro street stuff. Northeast here is big in the pro street. We always have been. The car came available. The car was originally done through Bob Messier, Way Cool Rod Shop, for a customer, his Ted Beiser, that lost interest in the project. And then at that point, Lonnie Gordon bought the chassis, and then we cut it was originally a 6.9 Camaro, like I said, and then we cut the body off of that and put a Chevy Nova on. So from there on, it just developed into this. I always liked Novas. When I was a kid, probably was 6, 7 years old, I grew up behind a shop that had a Chevy Nova Pro Street. It was pretty much a race car. So I always had that in my blood from way back, you know.
One of the coolest things about this car and one of the most over-the-top things is the transmission. Tell us what's in this thing for a transmission.
Well, we got a titanium bell housing backed up with a CS1 Lenco, and it's got a McLeod clutch with it from Fred Taylor. Hooked us up with a nice clutch system, you know, from McLeod, and it works good in the street. It does. It works awesome. This car was this was a custom blend. That was before Hot Rod Black and all that was out. So it was something different. I wanted something to contrast the frame, the chassis, and all the engineering we did in the car. I didn't want to take away from it with a nice flashy paint job. That's why I went with the flat, and we figured we'd do something with the hood just to make it pop a little bit.
What are people's reactions when you pull into a show like this or a cruise night when they first see this car?
It blows them away. Yeah, just I really like the guys that are really into fabricating, because they walk around a couple times and they walk the other way, and every time they walk around they see something. So, and we enjoyed the build. You know, I didn't build the race. I enjoyed the build.
Congratulations to Mike Eden and his 1970 Nova for winning the Moonshine Sweet Tea Sweet Ride Award.
Well, we're wrapping it up here at Maple Grove Raceway, and I'm going to finish my afternoon by checking out this mountain of a blown big block in the front of the Camaro. Why don't you join us next week as we go up to the mountain at Vandermeer Speedway outside of Denver. We'll see you next time.